Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About You. In today's video, I will be discussing, or we will be discussing, the competitive decks that you want to take to AC. You know, we are gonna have a pretty big event. We're probably looking at over 300 players. So this is gonna be something that you're gonna wanna take into consideration before you go there, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so right now, moving with the number one pick is leaders like Zenoh. He is fantastic for the format. He allows you to self-awaken quickly, gives you access to Shugesh very early, and in conjunction with Veggies or the GT variant, you can do powerful plays as early as turn 3, which is very strong and very necessary in a format that is pretty fast. And
the access to Cold Bloodlust is a big deal as well.
For sure.
So you literally get access to all the powerful cards that you need. Shugesh, Cold Bloodlust, and the power to just, you know, get out a bunch of Veggies really early, which is very strong. Just get it's like you're doing a deck profile. Your whole board's out there sometimes. If you get the right cards, it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty intense, and that is why Zenoh is one of the strongest leaders in this format. As you guys already know, Mecha Frieza was an abomination. It was just so destructive because it had the ability to awaken as early as turn 1. So, you know, leaders that have that ability to progress their game state that early in conjunction with cards like Shugesh, it becomes a very problematic situation for your opponent. If I can awaken way before you and establish a lot of my key cards on the board, you pretty much lose. That's unless you have something big, like a really big play in the later game to do. Okay, so moving forward from that, we have SS3 variant. This is a leader that is also a semi-self-awakener, starts off as 6 life by ditching the card out of your hand. And there's so many variants to play. There's the Buhan variant, which is one of the strongest. It actually won Origins recently. It was a Buhan mixed with Chain Attack's Trunks into Zenoh, piloted by Danny Hype. And it's a very powerful deck. It gives you access to multiple win conditions. It has adequate amount of chances to awaken because you're running like the Boo engine. So with Boo is literally allows you to take as many life as you want to help you awaken, which is very powerful. While other decks don't really have that capability, but that deck does. And it also rewards you for tapping out. Once you awaken, you can tap out freely, play as many cards as you need in one turn, and always be safe. You want tap 3. It's like being on training wheels. It's always gonna back you up. You don't have to worry about misplays as much, and you don't have to worry about any repercussions for tapping out, as long as you're awakened, guys, because that's actually one thing I want to bring up to your attention. If you're not awakened and for whatever reason you're tapped out and your opponent decides to make a push towards you, that's when you're in trouble. So you want to avoid tapping out or doing anything of that matter when you're not awakened. Once you're awakened, you do whatever you want to do because you have access to gaining 3 energy. Or up to 3.
You want to wait till the turn you are going to awaken, essentially. So, like if you're at, 5 life or whatever, that's when you really want to go all in. Then you can really tap out and everything. Because if you awaken that turn, at the end of the turn you untap 3. So it's it's very strong. You could do a lot in that one turn. SS3 goes to awaken. That's when you can do the most.
Yeah,
with your board state and everything.
And it's very powerful. There are other variants such as Apes, which is also very powerful with SS3. That's a deck that since you're already energy ahead of your opponent, or maybe even 2 energy if you start off first, you literally can start marching early, bring out King Vegeta. You can try to bring them out early with dropping the little one on your turn 2, and then on turn 3 just being able to overlay him and evolve. Or you can hard cast them at your 4th turn, because by then you'll have 5 energy. So it definitely is very useful to use that type of leader. So moving forward, you also have the Universe 7 Frieza. The Universe 7 Frieza is
extremely strong.
It's amazing.
I love the fact that you can essentially Faithless Loot every turn, ditch 1, draw 2 cards. That's a mechanic from other card games, but you can the fact that you can do it every turn is insane. It's really strong. The deck, pretty much, it's like a combo-based deck. It does one thing and it does it really well. It gets Victory Strike Goku or Frieza, U7 Frieza. I've played a bunch against it, and it's pretty scary. It's really strong. It always has a very large hand size. It doesn't have to be awakened to do what it has to do. And when it is awakened, it gets to tap things, as well as draw you 2 cards, which is really good. Mm-hmm. Definitely something to look out for. And then there's other variants too. I know there's U7 veggies running around because they can Sugash.
Yeah.
Because it's a yellow leader.
They can Sugash, and they have access to spamming the board just like any other veggie deck. There are a few issues in my personal opinion. Because you start taking away from the Universe 7 theme, which gives you less access to being able to ditch cards and draw early, which is what makes that leader amazing. You know, for me, you should always have that effect available every turn. And by mixing the deck too much, you take away from that element. So it's part of the game when you want to run other overpowered cards in a certain type of deck, but you just got to be careful on your ratios because, again, you don't want it to ruin the way the deck should be operating. So Universe 7 Frieza is definitely a hard pick. It's very strong. It does very well against the format. However, it does have some weaknesses. The weaknesses is that you literally could keep 8 life, and believe it or not, sometimes that's not the best thing. Your life might have stuff in it that you need, and if you have key cards that you don't have access to, unfortunately, your opponent could play you like that and maybe just utilize crits against you, so you just start losing important key resources from your life without getting to the main part of what you need to win. So that's something to keep in mind. Other decks that are very viable, Pan. Pan has always been viable. She's very strong. She's a leader that actually doesn't get hurt by not being awakened because she helps draw cards while also giving easy pumps to your battle cards.
She's a very popular leader, and she's a leader where if you play it right, she's very strong. I've noticed like a lot of players, you know, when they play Pan, that's what they've been playing. You know what I'm saying? Like they've been playing that since Pan came out, and like if you can pretty much you pilot that deck long enough, that's, you know.
It rewards you for the longer the game is, the better for you. Mm-hmm. That's the type of deck that you want the game to actually stretch out in your favor, because then you're able to drop several battle cards, and then once you can awaken, you can have a really huge turn. You want to awaken on your terms, so being able to, let's say, pay as much energy as you can, awaken, then be able to untap energy, then play another card, draw cards. So you're constantly drawing cards, giving free 5k pumps to your board, and it's very powerful.
It plays the chain attack Zenoh combo.
Yeah, chain attack Zenoh combo. It plays topos, which topos come out and say, hey, negate, plus I get 5k, plus I draw a card. It runs Vegeta, you know, the Vegeta that comes into play tapped. You draw a card, he becomes a 20k body on the board. Very difficult to get rid of, or, you know, your opponent won't want to attack into that because it's just a waste. You know, so it allows you to play good solid defense and rewards you for that, because now you can change that, you can literally change that defense to offense, and that's very powerful in this game. Moving forward, there are other leaders such as Cell, Androids, Mira, that are also good picks, but they are very weak to many matchups. So that's something that you may not want to invest in too much unless you're going for the Cell variant, because it has destructive force, meaning that it can get rid of battle cards. So that's one of the few leaders that can try to combat this format, but it's still rough. It's not easy. And overall, you know, there are other leaders available, but those are the most commonly used. And that's what showed a strong showing in the last event that just occurred. Any last words?
Not really. I think we pretty much hit all the leaders that we're definitely going to see a lot of at this event. You know, there are like the rogue leaders that people are going to play. Mass Saiyan will probably be one.
He is a rogue leader.
He's a rogue leader, but he's essentially anti-meta to this format. You know, he hits crit early, kind of like the Vegeta leader, where they'll go for the crit play with the double strike Champa. Mm-hmm. And pretty much they're just going to try and deny you of resources the whole time while overwhelming a lot of powerful cards in. Yeah. And being able to use their super combo early with the overwhelm is huge. A lot of people, I think, will be playing that as well. Yeah. Just because it's been a popular choice since, you know, 1 or 2 sets. And yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, other leaders that might get plays like the Khalifa red leader, the Sun Gohan leader is really popular. The one that lets you combo with U7s on the board. I know a lot of people have been testing those out. I don't know how many people will bring that to like a competitive event, but something you'd probably see.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, you know, just make sure that you're prepared for this event. Test play against the above leaders mentioned, and you know, just have an understanding of the format. That's going to allow you to perform very well at AC. Make sure that you are hydrated. Make sure that you eat. Being at these type of tournaments can be very draining.
It's tiring. You definitely need to keep snacks and water with you. If the venue doesn't have a concession stand, definitely bring something with you. You're there all day. I know, like when me and Anthony go, we plan for like a 10-hour day. Yep. So I make sure he has food and everything, and you know, water bottles with us, and because he's going to be playing 9 rounds day one most of the time, and it's long. It's a long day. It's tiring.
And then we prep up for day 2. The whole goal is you want to do well day 1, get into the event day 2. Don't stress out too much of your losses in day 1. You know, just make sure that you win majority of your games, and you'll be fine. And when I mean majority is, don't lose more than twice. So make sure you win most of your games. Again, have an understanding of the format. And then once you're in day 2, that's when things get a little more serious. But as far as that, have fun, enjoy yourself. As Katie said, make sure that you prepare yourself for food-wise, because it is unfortunate in some venues where there's not much access to food around you. And rounds are so clustered up that you can't just finish a round and leave out for food, because the next round is already being put up. So you know, just prepare for that. But I believe we covered most of the cards and most of the leaders that are involved with this format. There are others, but these are the general ones. So I hope you guys were able to learn something today, or at least reinforce your beliefs so that you can prepare more thoroughly. And thank you for watching. And as always, this channel is all about you.